Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, Real Estate Unleashed. I am your co-host, Bridget Quinn. You can find me on social media, B. Quinn Realtor.
And I'm Regan Hildebrand with Home Team Realty Group. You can find me on social media at Realtor Regan. Welcome, Bridget.
Howdy.
Howdy. All right, so we are in the middle of summer. It's hotter than...
It's getting hot in here.
Hotter than all hellfire outside. And
Yes, it is.
we were talking about today and looking at things that are also red hot. And red flags.
Oh, I hate those flags.
The red flags of real estate.
Yes.
A little bit of, the things that we see as agents that cause us to time out, pause. Here's something that catches our spidey senses tingling.
To look for.
Yeah. Spidey senses tingling, gotta keep a lookout for. And this is mostly from the perspective of like when we're showing houses to prospective buyers.
Well, and I think some of it is from experience or things that we've ran into that have been issues
Down the road
in transactions too. So just something to kind of think about.
Yeah, and a lot of times we worry about first-time home buyers getting into a sticky situation if there's things that aren't noticed, because immediately maybe when a buyer walks into a house, they're they
look at all the pretty stuff, the pig on the lip, or the pig on the lipstick, the lipstick on the pig.
Exactly. Yeah, the rose-colored glasses are in full effect.
Right.
But it's not always the first-time buyers only that get tripped up by these things. Seen plenty of times with experienced buyers that, unfortunately, there's some little magic tricks that sellers and marketing people kind of play when it comes to getting a house ready to put on the market, right?
Yeah, and I've seen buyers, as you say, get tripped up because they were maybe lost out on a lot of deals, and then there's something else that comes to market that is like, we got to get it no matter what. And as you say, those rose-colored glasses, that they just don't want to really focus in on what potential issues may be there.
Yeah. Or sometimes don't even want to set foot in and want to write like a sight unseen offer that itself, like if the home isn't accessible to be seen, that could be a red flag.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that too.
Yes.
Like that's a timeout. Let's see if there's some way to limit the risk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what would you say would be one of your red flags? Like, blatantly obvious waving in the wind.
Right. And I think the biggest one for me that I see the most often is like when you walk into a house and your senses, your sense of smell gets you, and you start noticing that there's like the overwhelming smell of crisp linen Glade air fresheners or lavender breeze.
Fresh Febreze.
We know the lavender and the crisp linen scent like immediately when we walk in.
It's like we always know agreeable gray paint.
Precisely. But it doesn't always have to be just smell, right? Like it can be other things that are like trying to hide maybe a funky odor that was there. Cover-ups. Yeah. Anything covering it up, whether it be the sense of smell or sense of sight. Carpets that, like rugs that are placed down over carpets in weird positions, or furniture that's been moved.
I've seen that a lot. Those like oddly placed items, as you say, furniture or big ticket items like a bookcase or something that's just, to me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't mean that there's something there, but I'm going to try to lift up the rug or look behind to see if I see something. Yeah,
I've had plenty of times in homes where pulling back the rug exposed a big stain or a tear in the carpet.
Both literally and...
yeah, exactly.
Figuratively.
But yeah, the cover-ups are probably the biggest red flag that you see, just that initial walking into the house.
I think when sellers, maybe not intentional, but they're trying to make it look as presentable as possible, so they may put that rug there to cover up that stain or something. So if you don't see it, you don't know about it. It's not there.
Right. Yeah, and also, the same kind of perspective too on the houses that are owned by these big corporations that are then reselling them. They bought them maybe a discount.
Right.
And then that lipstick on the pig or the pig on the lipstick that you're talking about. Windows that are painted shut. You don't realize until it's too late if you don't like try to
Jiggle
them, So all these little things that are just cover-ups are the ones that I just kind of like look for immediately. Sure. What about you?
Not being able to access to certain rooms or areas of the house without good reason. Like I've had I've had like listings that, maybe the cat or the dog was in a certain room and there were signs up that says, please do not enter because of pet or something like that.
Yeah.
But just weirdly locked doors with no explanation of why. And we've had crawl spaces plenty of times that's been locked and not accessible at all.
Yep.
And then down the road, you go under contract and you get access to it. And I think you've had issues too of locked rooms.
Yeah, locked utility rooms, and they ended up having in that locked utility room a panel, like a breaker panel that was completely out of code, a fire hazard, and why did you lock it? And then now the weird ones though are like when you go into a house and there's no notes to tell you, but you go and you find a bedroom door that's locked and you're jiggling it, and somebody says from the other side, "Please don't come in." That's scary. Work from home people who don't tell you that they're working from home. Fun, yeah.
Hiding out in the closet.
Yeah. But
behind the clothes, here's Johnny.
God, yeah, that's the last thing you need. Like somebody just sitting still. I saw some. I think it was on Instagram or something where someone said they vaguely heard something and then they went into the basement and it was a family like just hiding quietly, like they didn't leave from the showing, so they're just like trying to pretend they weren't there.
That's creepy. I'd rather you just say, look, family is going to be staying out of the way in the basement than being all creeper-like.
Yeah. But, I mean, the other red flags that we look for is just maybe not inside the home, but why has it been on the market for so long?
That's a big one.
Or why has it been on the market and then off the market, then back on?
The back and forth was what I was getting ready to say. Just, it's on the market, it's off the market, on the market, off the market. Like, without any sort of notes or explanations to say, something happened, or hey, here's the inspection report, or
under contract 2 or 3 times, and back on the market
especially
2 or 3 times.
Under contract for a long time, in which that they've had time to have inspections or something done.
Correct. Yeah, and then so as agents, we have to disclose anything that we are made aware of that's
because
a material
that becomes
fact.
A material fact.
Yeah, any kind of defects, we have to disclose it. And if there aren't comments in the listing remarks, the little private remarks that only agents can see, then we should be doing our due diligence to reach out to that agent to say, what do you know?
Right.
Is there anything you want to tell me?
What have you been made aware of?
Yeah. What have you been made aware of? Now, there's sometimes where people back out of a deal and they just don't give a reason.
Right.
They just say, sorry, we're not buying it. Cold feet.
Maybe inspection report came back fine and it was buyer financing fell through or something like that. There's, stuff happens, we get it, but
can it happen 3 or 4 times on the same property? Yeah, maybe.
It just becomes
unlikely.
It becomes, as you say, a flag, something to do your homework on a little bit more.
Yeah, if it's not a red flag, it's at least a caution flag.
Right.
And
caution does not mean go faster.
That's right. Yes, that's not the green flag. I think too, like the other thing that we look for in a house is like, is it been sold a bunch of times, right? Like, has it turned over a bunch? Like, we've seen some homes on the market too that somebody might be in there for a year. It was new construction. Yeah, we get it. Job relocations happen, and then they got to leave and go wherever else. And it might say that in the remarks. But what happens on those houses though?
Like for every 2 or 3 years, kind of suspicious after.
And then you look back, and the original purchase from 5 years ago, 3 owners back, was a flip. Like it was a remodeled house. Well, why did these other 3 families come and go, and now it's on the market a 4th time in a short period of time? like that's a big red flag. Did they find something that was just too costly for them to want to take on?
Right.
So now they're getting out of it. And because this market's been so hot so lately, you can live in a house for a year, maybe only 9 months or so, and still come out in the positive.
Right. Despite tax burdens and stuff like that for selling it in less than 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So I think it causes like some red flags.
I would say too, now like kind of thinking about it, as you're talking, is like, if I look at a house, to me that looks like it's a good house in good shape, priced accordingly. And we kind of talked about a little bit ago that had, the days on market, like why isn't it selling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something about it is fishy, or at least, hey, why is it still there?
Yeah. The ones I love are the ones that you see the listing photos and it's got a very zoomed in picture of the front of the house. And everything, like you're saying, looks
or
good. Or
not the front of the house as the first picture.
Right. They don't want you to focus on the outside as much. And I had one, not right in our backyard, but up in the Hickory area of North Carolina that we got out to. Everything looked great. But again, it had some time on market. Been under contract once and back on the market again. The inside photos looked great. But there was very few outside photos, and the ones that were there were zoomed in tight. So sure enough, we get there, and immediately, like we're standing out in front of the house, immediately to the left of the home is just like a big hoarding situation. Like, this is not an HOA, so there's nothing that can be done about it. But you've got a house that looks like it's about to fall in.
Because they know that's not going to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I also hate the pictures that almost look too good to be true. And I know that you can't really tell, that's too good to be true or not. But then when you go to this house and it is nothing like the photos.
Yep.
I mean, the photos are supposed to make it look good in any sort of light, but they shouldn't distort the reality of it too.
Yeah, the distorted reality of photos. Like, you got a good photographer when he can turn a real pig and put virtual lipstick on it, right? Yeah.
I know, that's some houses that I've had a list before. It's like, it needs some fixer-uppers, but you want to be true to it. It's like, please don't make this look phenomenal.
Something is not.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, all those things, we as agents get like sensitized to them, not desensitized. Like we go in
looking for that, targeting it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the reason we always say it. Like, you want to have somebody that can give you a truly objective viewpoint.
Yep.
Not only when you're buying a house, but also when you're selling it. Like you're saying, you don't want to make it look like something it's not and be unrealistic about it.
Well, that's just setting up false expectations.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the last thing we want to do. But wrapping it all up, the big expectation, the true expectation we have, click that subscribe button for us.
Yes.
Follow us. Leave us a comment if there are some red flags that you've seen.
There's plenty of green flags too, so maybe we'll do green flags on another episode.
Green flags, beige flags, yellow flags, any color flag you want.
Flag a lap.
We'll fly any flag of real estate. But yeah, leave a comment. Let us know what you've seen. And as always, you can find me on social media at Realtor Regan.
And you can find me on social media, B Quinn Realtor. And as always, we'll catch you next time.